going? Hey everybody. Yeah, it was dark and spooky. How are you guys doing? I'm going to do this on Twitch, but obviously my main I am doing this stream. Lazy stuff. It's been a while since I have left. Thought I'd give it a try, and you know what? If it works, good. If not, be enjoying the idea of the likes of Jungle J Adventures. Definitely glad to see. Is it really? Okay, let me. Do I sound better now? I'm gonna try to put in a little bit more. There's a gate on. Check. Do I sound a little bit better now? Put the threshold down a little bit. It might be a little bit noisier, but hopefully it'll be a better, not cut in. Okay, all right, cool. Sounding good. How are you guys doing? There was a request on my Discord for maybe something where a question that the guy who runs my Discord, his name is Badman, and he wanted to know if there were like free alternatives to DAWs and things like that. How's it going, Naji? Is it Naji? So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to be exploring a couple of DAWs in the near future. I actually went through and I got a website to kind of like answer his question about what he can get for free. So what I got here is essentially a list of DAWs that you can try out for free. However, the site was kind of a little bit less informed than what I had initially thought. So just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I've got this website right here. Let me just go ahead and close that out. So this is the site that I gave him. And basically it purports to be a list of 12 different DAWs that is essentially for free, meaning that you don't have to pay any money to use it. But there are some pros and cons to each and every one of them. Obviously, if you're not paying any money, you're not going to get as many features as what people would actually like. You're not going to get the full list of available features on each software platform. What we've got here is number one is Audacity, which is something that is interesting. However, there's no MIDI compatibility, which is the MIDI notes basically play the instruments on things that I don't record audio from. So there, if you have like a VST instrument, you have to have a MIDI channel to control it and control the notes. Otherwise, you have to control the audio directly. So that's kind of not really an option here. Also, another problem here is that it's got some privacy spyware concerns. So that instantly strikes off the list right there, right? Then you've got GarageBand, which I cannot do because I'm running on a PC. And GarageBand here is Apple only. It's basically one of those exclusive things that back in the day there was this DAW called Logic, and I used to run it this is a long time ago, but I used to run it all the time. And I used to run it until they got sold to Apple, and Logic basically became GarageBand as kind of like an entry-level DAW here. So I can't actually do this. So basically the third option here is Ableton Live Lite, which is a free DAW. The pros are that it uses Ableton's well-loved workflow. We'll get into that in a little bit. A good range of effects and instruments. And also, as for cons, it's limited to about 8 tracks here. So, yeah. The thing is that this is not quite accurate. And the reason is that Ableton Lite Live is, you can't utilize the software by itself. And what I mean by that is this piece of software seems to be part of a deal where if you buy a certain instrument, a physical instrument, you can utilize Ableton Live Lite for free. So let's say you have like a DJ table or a keyboard that offers Ableton Lite Live in the bundle, right? So you buy this piece of software or this piece of hardware, and it comes with Ableton Lite Live bundled with it, meaning you don't have to pay any extra for this kind of DAW. So in a sense, it's free, but it's not, because you're basically buying the total of this piece of hardware plus Ableton Lite Live. So there's probably no free Ableton Lite or no free software, but you can actually get a preview of Ableton Live on the website, which I did. And you get a certain amount of time to evaluate the software before you have to actually buy it, which is good because you want to be able to know what you're getting into before you drop in a few $100 on it. Now, the good part about this is, let me go and bring this out. Let's see. You can get the very basic version of Ableton Live 11 for about $99, which is all right. It's not as cheap as Reaper, which is about $60, at least at the time that I bought it, but it actually is fairly cheap, unlike its most expensive version here, which is about $700. So what I'm going to be doing right now is, if you'll be a little bit patient with me, I'm going to actually explore Ableton Live Lite here with you. So hopefully it'll be entertaining at the least. Me trying to go through this flow. This flow is not what I'm used to at all. Reaper is definitely different, but it has some things going for it. So just to give you an idea, I did a little bit of basic programming here, and I've got it's a little squat little sequence here. Right. So essentially what I've got here is just like every DAW here, you've got your track list. You've got MIDI tracks here. You've got basically your instrument tracks, and you can record audio with them. Now I did actually figure out how to record audio on here. So let me actually, I think I can mute this thing, right? Where's the mute? All right, I'm going to turn this off. I'm thinking that's... Yes, I do stream. Hello, Blackbird. How are you doing? Let's see. Where's the mute on this track? So usually you have a mute going on. This, maybe I can just like, there you go. Negative infinity here. So that'll, okay. So I can put it down to negative infinity, it'll mute it basically. Right? Hello, Mocha, how are you doing? Thank you very much. I'm glad you like the music. So in an audio track, what I've actually figured out as well is that you can select between your left and right channels, or you can select stereo here. And in order to record, you press the red button here. This is your little circle record button. And basically you can record different things. So right now I'm running off an FM3, that is the audio. And I've got kind of like the interface here. So I can do different effects. Let's go for... Night Creatures. Let's try that. It's a little bit too much. Let's try crystals, right? All right. So in order to record, you basically hit the circle button right here for record, and you can record your sound. This is playback now. I think. Let me see if. Oh. That's interesting. So if I. There we go. Yeah, if I do a song, Blackbird, I think I would actually do it on Reaper since I know the flow a whole lot better. Unless we can try to make a song on here on Ableton Live, but to be honest, I think I would probably need at least maybe a week or two of practice on this before I actually get confident to display this on stream, you know? The Reaper is definitely a different flow, and I can bring that up in a little bit if you guys are interested in that instead. So essentially, I don't know if this is actually going to play unless I have that S here. So okay. In Ableton Live comes with its own set of instruments. rather than, and I haven't actually explored this out to its full effect, but there are sounds that are specifically in drums and other things specifically meant for Ableton Live. I think one of the things that I was able to do here, I was able to like find myself a kit that I could work with. So let's do an Ironman kit, for instance, right? We can change that. As you can see, essentially the flow is you've got the main track here, and you can actually program your MIDI sequences in these bars here. So if I were to do this, and double click that and bring it out to as long as I need, right? And then as you can see at the bottom here, I've got a MIDI sequence. So let's see if we can actually program a beat here. That's pretty useful. So it tells you what the pieces of the percussion are. So let's do like a straight beat here. So if I were to play this out, whew, okay, all right. So that's basically a straight beat. You can actually add like your hi-hats in here as well. So what's up, HMF Crafting? How are you doing? All right, so that's okay. You can kind of see what's going on here actually. I've got this straight 4, which is about a measure long, which is basically what I originally defined this as, right? But it looks like you can, and then I extended it out for another 8 measures here. And so basically what it's doing, it's repeating this loop that I programmed here for about 8 measures. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Hopefully demonstrating this piece of software a little bit in an interesting way. But in any case, so basically what you've got here is basic 4 on the floor, which is kind of like your basic drum beat. What's up, Storm? How are you doing? What I can do though, we're gonna actually scrunch this down because I want to actually change the drum kit, which you can actually do. I think if I have this selected and then I select another kit, it should basically replace this Ironman kit with something else. Let's see, an 808. How about that? Yeah, okay. That's a useful concept here, right? Because in Reaper you actually have to go in and delete out your instrument and then drop another one in, which is it's a form that I'm used to, but obviously this can be useful as well. Okay. If I do this, this is going to be extremely basic track. So, I wonder though if I can actually try to import some of my plugins though, because like basically what I have here is like Ableton only. You know what I mean? What I could do actually is I can bring in the bells too, just to make it look silly. Let's do that. So we're at infinity now. We can bring it back to 0. bells are a little bit overpowering though, so let's go down a little bit, like 9. Hello, Barb. How are you doing? Okay, yeah. So one of the advertised strengths of Ableton Live is it's better for live performances. Obviously, it's in the name. That's why I think Deadmau5 uses this a lot, as well as a lot of like EDM artists and stuff like that. How do you like the 909? Do you like this kit right here, or do you think like something else could actually go better? I think we can actually play around with the settings here. So let's see. So I should bring this back. What's up, Storm? How are you doing? Okay. So in addition to the instruments, you can actually put in effects as well. So this would obviously be an instrument that we're working with here. And then if you go down to audio effects, you can actually bring in something a little bit better. Well, things to kind of like shape your sound to make the instrument sound better or more appropriate to what you're doing. Let's see. Barb, we're actually exploring a new platform here. I don't actually use Ableton Live. I use Reverb. So we're basically yeah, okay. So everybody, people are interested in this. I'm glad. So Dirt and Grit, right? Let's do that and see. Okay, so Dirt and Grit is an extra effect that you kind of added here when you basically clicked this. So it brought this over here into the effects processor. Okay. I will do something on Reaper. Obviously, I'm a little bit more experienced on this, but I think we're doing good right now with Ableton Live at the moment. Let's see. Do we have like a compressor here? Dynamics. Okay, Dynamics will probably have a compressor here. Okay. All right. Now, with the compressor, it's kind of interesting. I wonder if they have like presets that will allow you to kind of like make it so sound gooderizer. Well, I don't know what that is, Storm. Is that like, I guess that's a Fruity Loops thing, right? And maybe I'll take a look at it one of these days. I forgot about that. Fruity Loops is a thing still. Is it? Let's see. We're gonna keep it with that just to make it. I like the beat. I actually kind of like the effect on that. right out of the gate, the sounds actually sound pretty good, actually, to be honest. I do a lot of effects on Reaper to make everything sound good, so we can keep that up. And I might actually like practice on this. So, let's see. One of the things that we can do actually is we can go like this. I'm gonna duplicate, right? So we basically duplicated this. We'll duplicate that as well. So basically we've doubled the length of our track. I'm gonna try to actually change this up here a little bit. So here we have like the notes that we programmed in with our bells. And then I'm just gonna transpose it really quick. So bring that down, and now we have like kind of like a sequence that is different from the first 8 measures here. So now your English is fine, Storm. I'm understanding everything you're saying right now. So all right. So I kind of like that, but it's going to switch to the original track. All right, let's try this. Duplicate that, and then we're just going to kind of move it there and shorten the sequence by a little bit. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm modifying the track so it has a little bit of a transpose here, and it goes back to the original. So, but wait. Okay. All right. So I guess you can duplicate the tracks themselves. What I just did there is I did a duplicate, and it copied and pasted the entire instrument here to track number 7. I do this a little bit sometimes in Reaper. Yeah, thank you, Cortina, and thank you, Flying Over Trout. I'm much appreciated. So what we can do, and one of the reasons why you would do this is because you want to double up the instrument with something else, right? So instead of 2 bells here, you have, let's try something else. Let's replace it with, instead, maybe a glow stick. Okay, these are effects. Let's do something like a synth, maybe. So now let's do maybe instead of a mallet, let's do like a key, a synth key or something like that. So a detuning. All right. All right, and this is where I'm gonna play around with what's going on here, because I like this. Let's actually cut out the track here. What's up, Adam? How are you doing? Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. In my head, I hear drums 2 times slower than the melody. So, and this is an experiment because, at least in my video software, when you like duplicate something, if you make a change in this area right here, sometimes it will like, well, most often it will like make a change here as well. So let's actually do that modification and see what it does. So this is our drum track, right? So instead of a 4x4, we've got this now. And we can do that as well. Let's see if I can. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, we had the slower beat here, and we modified that beat here, but we actually duplicated this from here. But this is its own independent thing right here. What's going on, Badman? How are we doing? How are we doing? This is Ableton Live. So hopefully you enjoy this. So we can actually have both beats here, honestly, because if you, like, one of the things that I strive to do for this sort of thing is incorporate variations so it keeps the song interesting. So what we have here essentially is just 3 instruments at the moment. We've got the plastic toy, we got the D20 synth, and then we've got the oh man, sorry to hear that, Bad. I hope you're feeling better soon. Let's try this now. Duplicate. Okay, so one of the things that I'm noticing as well is that if you duplicate over this, it's kind of like your video processing software, right? Because if you duplicate this and this guy is in the way, it looks like it will try to overwrite that. So we're gonna move this guy here, so it's out of the way. So we'll duplicate this guy here, and hold on, duplicate. All right, so now we can switch between the fast beat. So the fast beat falls on the transposed melody here, or the arpeggio. And then the slow beat kind of goes back to the original arpeggio. Okay. This is a new experience for me, Badman. This is Reaper is so much different. But it's good to keep on your toes, right? Okay. So in order to insert things, new tracks, you have to be careful not to have something like this selected, right? Or else if you try to drag a new instrument in here, it'll basically try to replace whatever you have in here. In this case, I want to actually try to kind of keep everything together. So what we're doing here is basically just move the drum track closer to, as a matter of fact, let's actually, what I like to do is I like to keep the drum track basically at the top, because that's basically the foundation of our little music here. So what I want to try here actually, is there a way I can unselect this? Because I feel like, okay, I can maybe create a new track here. And then what I want to do is I want to actually create a pad as well. So we have lots of different pads. These are presets essentially for Ableton. Let's do evolution here. Yeah. So it looks like you will actually create an extra track here. Evolution is this synth right here that was just added. One thing I don't see is a possibility for presets on individual synths, which is why I kind of would prefer to have my own VSTs, because I know I can play around with settings and save them as presets as well. And if I don't know what I'm doing, presets are actually all right, you know what I mean? And this flow here is completely alien to me. So one thing I can do, I think I can, I forgot how. Oh, here we go. All right, let's not, I'm going to try and basically create a loop here that, there you go. Okay, so I selected an area, right click, and it says insert empty MIDI clips. This is how you basically create a clip that's longer than a measure. Do I ever get musician's block? You know what? I improvise quite a bit, Adam. I have to say that playing guitar, I just like noodle around a lot, and so like, and whatever sticks sticks. So, and also the variety of what I produce kind of helps as well. So I'm not really stuck to one genre of music. So it helps a lot with like that sort of thing. All right, so we have a pad now. Since we already have something here, it'd be useful to actually see where my notes are, right? So I wonder if, let's see. I guess one thing that I can do is I can kind of copy and paste and see what I've got here. I'm not the best at music theory myself. There's quite a bit of difference, Zach, in like how this works, because first of all, the flow is kind of different. How you create things are different. How the tracks interact with each other are different. It is possible to record musical instruments. We did that earlier, and I can probably demonstrate that as soon as what I want to do is set up a pad and kind of have it back up what the bells are doing. So we're going to do that. So what we can do here, we'll basically just get rid of that and then extend this out all the way to 9 measures here, right? Same thing for this. I think that's all we need. So basically what we are going to end up with is a minor chord here that we can run across the entire section here. So, okay. It's a little bit too harsh here. But no worries, we can actually, once we get done with the notes here, we can replace it with different different instruments here. We'll do our same trick here, we'll duplicate, and with this side we'll just transpose it down a couple of notes here. So we'll go down here a couple of notes, which is, I like this. This is actually fairly easy to do. And what we'll do here is we'll just do that, move that out of the way, and then duplicate this so we kind of match what's going on here with the bells at the top. So we don't like this pad at all, unless what we could do is we could actually insert a low pass filter effect. Let me see if we can actually do that. Audio effects, and what we do, EQs and filters. Let's see, I don't know if we want an auto filter. That seems like a bad idea, but I don't know exactly what else there is here. So auto filter, sideways, top spreader, EQ channel. Not seeing a low pass filter though. Dynamics, that's where your compressors are. Filter. All right, let's do an auto effect. We got a band pass, it looks like, and a kick boom, crashing, kick drum, nebulo, stereo notch, top spreaders. Let's take a look at the instrument itself. So there's a low pass filter here. You can see it right there. So a low pass filter. All right, so that helps tame our instrument by quite a bit. Without that filter, it just sounds very harsh. When really you want the bells to kind of take control here and have the pad be a little by itself, just a backup here. Let's go in here and decrease the loudness though. Pretty good. One of the things that I did is I actually put a notch filter in there to help for the stereo. Channel EQ, let me see if we got it. A lot of the stuff is very preset oriented, I gotta say. but with like a little bit of learning on the interface here, you can probably just take care of your own EQs and stuff like that. Seems like a interesting way of doing things, at least. Got an LFO as well. Okay, that's interesting. So it have LFOs that you can kind of apply here. Let me get rid of that. And you can actually set the LFO, I think probably by, can't really do that. So you have like a 1 hertz. I wonder if you can, okay, this is better. Usually when you go for LFOs, you want to have it timed based off of the tempo of the music instead of just a straight hertz definition, right? So, all right. Let's go for a bass here, actually. So I'm going to, again, move this up here so we're kind of grouped here. I want to see if I actually insert something, it'll actually replace this, or if it'll just create a new instrument. So instruments, bass, and basically what I'm looking for is a basic sine wave. So sub stomach. Okay. Okay, that's enough. Not what I had in mind. Those look like actual samples there. Bass. Bass. Saw. Saturated bass. Square. Okay, we can try that. So it does insert a new track. It's just when you have one of these instrument tracks, it'll replace it. So square pure bass. You can actually change the shape here. Yeah, there we go. So if we don't like the square wave, we can actually replace it with a sine wave, which is good. So again, what we can do here, I'm wondering if you can actually join these things together. So I don't see a join option as well, which you can do in Reverb. But if you duplicate that, then you get a new set of notes. And I think you can actually drag that all the way down here. So it basically duplicates what we want. Let's see. Although I don't think we want to actually edit the notes here now. Okay, there we go. Kind of what I wanted to do, but not. I'm gonna undo that though. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. All right, now that we got that, we'll drag and drop. This is kind of, I wish there was like a button to kind of undock this, you know what I mean? And have its own separate deal here. I'm gonna get rid of all but the lowest note here. And obviously that's going to be way too high for what we need for a bass. I'm sure there's like presets here that we can actually do. So bring that down. still a little too high. I like my sub bass really just low and rumbling and stuff. Okay. Yeah. Oh boy, this is a learning curve for sure. All right. Come on, let me get into that area right there. There we go. Pretty good, not bad. Okay. And let's go ahead and duplicate that. So add a little bit more variation there. So, and I think I'm gonna change it to a sine bass as soon as I'm satisfied with the notes here. Kind of there. All right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that across a couple more sections here. So I'll delete that. And then I can... Yeah, it's supposed to be bass here. And we're going to duplicate this a couple more times just to kind of demonstrate it. So duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. All right. And then we can select the entirety of that and just drop it down there. Okay. Good. I feel like there's like some sort of detuning going on. I gotta find that. There's like, it's basically off key when you go into that square wave, and I'm pretty sure that that's basically the setting of the instrument there. Yeah, well, no, it's like obviously I switched to the sine bass there because if you do a square wave bass there, it's going to get in the way of your higher instruments, just like the pad. So your higher instruments obviously they're going to be the bells and the backup to the bells. What I'm trying to find out here, though, is like the other thing that I noticed about the bass is that it seemed like it was detuned. It was off tuned by a little bit. So I'm trying to hunt for the setting. It doesn't look like it's detuned though. There's no detune here. So let me switch back to that just to kind of make sure. Maybe I'm just hearing things. All right, we'll bring it down to the sine wave there. Alternatively, we can actually try to find a different instrument if we don't like that one, right? Because we have like several different instruments that we can choose from here. So, what can we have? The thermal bass? What is that? Let's try that. All right. Seems like a little bit of a simpler instrument, but. Interesting. Let me see. I think, yeah. Okay, there was a couple of notes that I missed here on the transpose. All right, so I don't necessarily like the thermal bass here, to be honest with you. Let's go to the basic analog bass. Okay, I think I see it. I think I know what's going on here. We got a funky note. We got to figure out what that note is. I see. All right, we got it. I think we accidentally transposed a note there. Slower? I mean, we could do a slower tempo. What do you say? Should we make this a slower song? Yeah, that's definitely what was happening. We made it funky. What's going on, Vikings? How are you doing? Alright, so what we want to do is actually get rid of that guy right there, and then duplicate again, and then get rid of this guy. Delete. And then duplicate again here, and then bring that out. And I think what happened here? Okay, all right, I see it. There we go. I think we're good to go. Lower in tone or lower in BPS? Because we can do that pretty easily here. Like this is our tempo here. So if we do that 94. Bring it back. Unbelievable. All right. All right. Go back into this. Do a little bit of a note fix here. Yeah. Yeah, no. It should go back to 120 BPM. I agree. There we go. Okay. Don't mind me, I'm just doing a little bit of note fixing here because I realized that there are a couple notes that kind of got out of hand here. So what's good about this is you can easily, I mean, this is pretty simple, right? I think you can actually, if you double click it, you don't actually get to numerically set your tempo, but you basically set yourself back up to 20, you know? So, all right. Once again, I'm changing my mind because I actually like the 4 on the floor better as the second part. And going down here, it is, yeah, we're gonna change the bass. I don't like it, so don't worry. It's gonna change here in a bit. Happened there. Go ahead. I like the filter portion of it, but like the treble is way too much. So what we can do is we can go ahead and see if we can't get an EQ here to kind of like filter out that. The previous one? Okay. Let's see here. Instruments. So the previous one was this guy, right? Previous one? All right. It's kind of a gargly one. lost. This is the joys of creating music. Sometimes you just are not some things just don't sound right until it just clicks, you know. Let's try this, because this actually seems like a good counter melody to what we're doing out here, actually. So let's try, and we'll come back to the bass here in a little bit. I want to actually see if we can actually bring this as an instrument that we can utilize. It's like the counter melody here. Synth, okay. You can do like a metallic lead, a lead, or a saw detune, or a square lead. How about that? And obviously we're gonna have to up that up by an octave or two to be able to do that. Or instead of doing that, ironically, we found ourselves a decent sub bass actually by doing that. It's a square lead, but if you change it to a sine wave, then it may not be the entirety of the bass signal here, but at the low end, you can get away with using this as kind of your sub bass here. So we can actually kind of rename it, I think. Can you rename it? I guess you cannot, which is kind of unfortunate here. Can you rename this? Okay, yeah. Sub bass, right? And so what I'm looking for here is basically kind of the dynamics that you would want to be able to put onto a sub bass. Sub basses are fairly simple in that really you only want to compress a sub bass because it only has a few frequencies, and so it doesn't really get in the way of everything else, because the sub frequencies are all the way to the 0 to 60 to 80 range. So it has a tendency to just not get in the way of everything, unlike a bass guitar, in which it's very complex. It has a lot of like signals that you have to kind of shape to be able to sit into the music right and not get in the way of things like the drums and the guitars. And that's why you kind of like cut out the lower end of the guitars when you're mixing into a final song. Brick wall, maybe. That might be something that we can do. Probably not though. Basic compressor. Peak compressor. No, we don't want that. Kick reducer, precise, mildly aggressive. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay. Sounds good to me. So we can add on top of that, of course. And let me actually get into a EQ here just to make sure our treble is doing all right. Let's see. Instruments. There you go. E-bass modern, right? That probably should go actually here. Drag and drop. So basically, we just changed the order of effects here. Got our synth. We've got our EQ here, and it's cutting out a lot of stuff here. So I want to kind of drag it here. But really, what we want to do is we want to make sure our mids are out of the way for the other instruments. And then we've got our compressor. Pretty good. Are we feeling good about that? We can, some of our options is we can create another instrument that goes on top of this that kind of backs it up, and also can kind of create a counter melody here. One of the things that we can do actually, it looks like this is the option to pan. So you can actually, we'll pan this one about 30% to the left and this one about 30% to the right here. You can't hear the bass. The bass is, okay, it's the sub bass right here that we've got here. So it may be a little bit harder to hear on headphones, but, and that's why I'm saying that we can actually kind of double up on this. Because what we're taking care of here is the very, very, very low end of the song, where your car's subwoofers pick up, that sort of deal. So we can actually duplicate this again. So again, duplicate. We've got the same notes here and actually the same effects here. But the only thing we can, what we can do then is then swap out the instrument that we're playing with. So let's go for a bass, just to see if we can kind of get a better bass here. Saw sub. BWX, thank you so much for the $10 there. Glad to see you here. Much appreciated. Thank you. How's that? What we can do is actually add a filter on top of that to make it better. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to rename this again. Bass Chop 1. You mean rewrite this the actual track here? We can. It could do that. What I was going to try to do actually is I was going to try to add a filter here, because what we want to demonstrate here is because it's got the right range. It just needs a little bit of like effects to keep it interesting, you know. And what I mean by that is we can go back into the effects here. Let's play around with these auto filters here and see what we can come up with here. So basically, we've got a rubber flooring here. I don't know what that is, but we can drag and drop. We can play around with this. And if we don't like it, we'll discard it and play around with something else, all right? It's not really auto-filtered, is it? I mean, I like that filter though. That's definitely a high pass filter there. And we can, that's interesting right there. So you've got like the a basic low pass filter there. You've got your high pass filter here, a band pass, a notch, and then another band pass, it looks like. But you can also probably play around with the resonance here. Like you can get as much resonance as you want. And you can do the filtering here, the actual filter frequencies. And it looks like you can actually do a bit of like enveloping here as well. So So what I'm doing right here, the envelope right basically plays around with the ability to kind of drive the signal there. I don't know if I'm going to release this on my channel, but it'd be nice to explore, you know what I mean? Again, we're exploring the abilities of Ableton Live here, so you have an idea of what you can do with this thing. And that's actually, again, I'm using the trial version of this. So if you want, you can download this yourself and play around with it for free for at least a few months before you have to go and buy this. And the basic version of this software is essentially, it's $99. I don't know if there's any tax involved with that. Most likely it's dependent on the area that you're in. The flow here is vastly different than Reaper, I'll have to say, because the effects window, as you can see, is this like tranche down here where you're kind of like mixing and matching here. Whereas with Reaper, you've got an extra window that basically allows you to insert the effects there. Frankly, I feel like the Reaper flow is a little bit easier to work with in that way, because instead of having to go through each and every one of these things, I mean, it's a very visually good to see what you're dealing with, but at the same time, with the Reaper, you've got kind of a list of your effects going down, so you can just select the effect that you want to work with instead of having to deal with all of them at once, you know? Maybe make a prelude without this space and after the use of this line, like me. Okay, we can do that, yeah. One of the things that we can do is, I think we can select all of them and just move all of them, right? So we have like we can create an 8 measure intro here. And instead of doing just one, well, we can actually do this. We'll do it like this, and we'll duplicate this entire thing, but we can actually shorten the track by a little bit, and we'll duplicate it to kind of make it simpler. So Oh yeah, we forgot to move the drums actually. So there you go. All right. Then let's actually do this too. So we'll create this, duplicate here, and what this does is kind of creates like a two-fold version of the intro. So I don't like this bass. I don't like it. This is probably due to like the fact that I'm not used to this flow, and so what's going on here is I'm using basic notes and I don't like it. But you know, if we can come back to this, maybe it should be different, like Badman says. I think it might have to be different. But how? You know what I mean? First of all, this bass is complete. This bass top here is kind of completely ugly. The filter here, it's kind of interesting, and it was good for like, you know, just demonstration of what you can do with the effects here. But let's see if we can actually just delete it by pressing delete. Yes. All right. That effect is now gone. Kind of don't like the instrument as well. We can choose something else. Thermal bass. I think we already actually kind of like did that already. Let's try that. I don't know if you can hear that, but I mean, it has potential, right? You've got a different, more complex waveform here. So this is the evolution thing that we're working with. It looks like actually you got a little bit better control here with separate oscillator controls. Gain, tone, and also if I were to use this, I'd probably have to transpose these notes up by an octave, it looks like, because if you see, the tuning is kind of limited here to what it's playing right now and then 2 octaves lower. Can I solo this real quick? It's almost a better sub bass than what we've got going on here, to be honest. If we solo this one out. So they would kind of like get in the way of each other. However, all right. Not duplicate. Can I actually, what I want to do, what I would really like to do is just like join these tracks together. And I don't know that I have that option. Consolidate. All right, cool. That's better. All right, I think. Yeah, all right. So what I just did there, I think that's pretty cool. So consolidate is the option that you want instead of join. So basically you have the same abilities as Reverb, they just name it funny, differently. So thank you again, BWX. Thank you so much for the 10. I appreciate it. Yeah. Man, definitely, I appreciate it. Don't really stream all that much, so I don't know really know what else to say. But I hope you enjoy the music. I'm gonna continue on creating music, of course. So, again, thank you. Definitely sounds better. The only thing I think I would do is I probably should add a high pass filter to this thing, only because the sub bass here kind of like gets in the, it's gonna like interfere with each other, I guess, right? So if you go into here, and let's see if we can actually find something. So the auto filter, bandpass, spinner, beat mosaic. I think though, what I can do, let's see if that actually works. Absolutely, Storm. Thank you again. Let's change that to a a high pass filter, and we'll see if that actually. So what I'm doing, thank you, Adam. Thank you for stopping by. So what I did here is, we've got two different basses going on here, Badman. We've got the sub bass, which is the very, very, very bottom here, and then we've got the actual bass guitar here. Well, the actual bass here, which is kind of like, it's in between your mid stuff and your low stuff, basically. So it forms a little bit of the character on the bass. So that's why I cut out the sub bass, because you already have a sub bass here on this track right here, and this is the top of the bass. Your hobbies. So you're a game producer. Awesome. I hope you're able to use some of my stuff there. So anyway, so again, we can play around with the levels here. Inspire? I don't know if I'm inspire, but definitely people, hopefully people get ideas from me, sometimes at least. Let's see. don't want to do that. All right, so duplicate. I like that. Duplicates. All right. I think that's what they say in Reaper. I'll have to check that out actually, because normally I just maybe. Sometimes it helps to get chord progression out before you actually start anything else. So. Yeah, like a pad. It would be a pad that we use to kind of like construct everything. Except I forgot the. Okay. Dun, dun. What's up, Orange Glob? How are you doing? It's kind of an ugly chord, but. All right, no, I don't like that. So if you go here, the original chord was off of E flat, so E flat, and then okay. It does, except for that third. It sounds good, except for that third. You gotta nail that third chord down. And I think it's gotta be this right there. So, no, I don't want that. I want this. There we go. And duplicate. Chord construction. Okay. I think now that, okay, they are long, but I think we can come up with different lengths here based on, now that we've got kind of like the progression here going on. So instead of doing 4 measures, we can cut it down to 2 per chord here, and we can probably even kind of granulize it a little bit more here. So okay, and we can actually do something to that chord to make it a little interesting at the end here. We're gonna test this out really quick. So okay, what's going on here? All right. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, all right. So I guess one of the challenges here, or one of the pitfalls you might run into is, so the reason why this stopped playing is because we are only cut off until here, I guess, right? Yeah. So if we go into here and we all right, basically what we're going to do is we're going to shorten that down, drag this over, and that should take care of the transition. All right, we've got our chord progression, and you can play this from the start here. And because we like a little bit of repetition here, we can actually go ahead and duplicate that. Duplicate. No. Duplicate. There we go. Kind of. And instead of doing what we did before, we can actually just move the notes up a little bit. So Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Good. I'm glad you got an idea there. Thank you, Storm. All right. So, what this can do is you can kind of like basically build an entire section off of this chord progression. So if we go back to the beginning and then let it kind of like play out here. It's all right. It's not too bad. Not too shabby. The chord progression here is a little, I don't know. See if I can actually. I'm going to. What was I saying? Consolidate. Control J is consolidate. All right, it's good to know. And I wonder though if this would be better served it was kind of more on key with what we're doing though. You know what I mean? So if I go down here, oh, okay, that's good to know. Okay, so this is a good thing to know if you're trying to produce something and you want to know what's going on with the rest of your instrument here. I think what you can do, if you select these things here, at some point you can actually figure out what the rest of your instruments are doing by essentially selecting all of this. And I think you can actually edit your notes in for both of these instruments at one time, once you've kind of like laid down these tracks and everything. It's definitely good to know. What I want to do actually though is if I go here and go down here and select all, I want to see if I can have this kind of match what we're doing here, and maybe it'll sound a little bit better for the transition. So all right. Duplicate that, of course. All right. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an instrument with this chord progression here. And see if we can add a little bit of depth here. So strings, Tron strings. Let's see if we can play around with that. Duplicate again. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, so we're here. I'm going to essentially cut the volume here by a little bit. Let's see. Audio effects. I don't know if that's add a compressor. I think just a gentle compressor here, so add that there. Maybe we can kind of, I don't know if like, so there's a progression here from just one instrument to the Tron instrument kind of backing it up. And if we want, we can bring the beat back as well. So, say this, right? One of the things that we can do is we can actually add a little bit of variety to this drum beat now, right? So instead of doing just this, you can go like this, add in a different bass track here, and then if we wanted to add in another bass track or another snare here, and then since we've got that, we can actually consolidate, right? Duplicate, and then we've got and we can actually modify this guy here a little bit as well. Let's see how that sounds. Duplicate. And get rid of this guy here because we kind of have a little bit of a variety here that we need, right? And duplicate. So you mean the pads and stuff like that? I was intending to maybe add something a little bit more to this. So the really soft pads would kind of like go here, right, in the middle of this section here, and then this would kind of like add more intensity to the song. I could be wrong and everything like that. Ooh. Let's see if I can hold on. Instant modification. Banned. All right. This is what I do every time I release a video, is I actually wait for these guys because I know they're coming, and then you just ban them. All right. So, I mean, the reason why the drum here actually sounds a little harsher is because I've got that distortion behind it. The compressor there, but this is basically where it's at. But if we don't want that compressor here at some points of the song, I mean, there's two ways that we could go about doing this. If we don't want the compression here, we can find ways to automate this thing, or we can create another version of this drum set for this section here and operate without the distortion here, which we got. Or we can create a new drum set entirely that has different instruments on it, right? So we can do that actually. Let's go ahead and duplicate, right? That's what we're gonna do here. Duplicate. All right. So now we've got our separate set here. And in the separate set, basically what we can do then is get rid of the dirt right here and see what it sounds like. So it's a straight 909 right now. Basically, it sounds like a 909 because that's what we've got. We can go back in here and see if we can find a drum synth that we like better. Let's see a drum rack. Okay, if we like that, that's fine. Okay, so we can actually do that. With this sort of deal, you don't want a particularly active sub bass. We want the sub bass to kind of follow the bottom edge of what this guy is doing, this chord progression. So we can create a separate note path, and I think this is where we want to put it here, I think. All right. It's kind of disconcerting. But if we go into the note path here, then we can just basically delete all but the bottom notes. And the reason with this is chords in the bass registers don't play well with each other at all. So essentially what we've got is, instead of the chord here, we're going to work with the bottom set of notes. And I think we can go down to 2. Wait, hold on. There we go. Still a little too high, so. Ba-da-ba. Okay. I think let's move this pad up here, because I like the bass on the bottom here. That's just a personal preference of mine. One of the things that we can do here is we can actually, let's attempt to make an arpeggio. And when I say arpeggio, something that's basically sequenced. I want to see if I can actually do this. Duplicate, and instead of this, we're going to utilize something like a mallet or something like that. So a mallet, let's go with basic bells maybe, and then we'll kind of like branch out from there if we want to. All right. And so right now what it sounds like is this. Not gonna lie, that actually sounds pretty good. So I might actually keep this and save the arpeggio for another day or another minute. But some things we have to take care of here. Duplicate that. So essentially what I'm doing is, because you're operating with a pad on the previous one, you get to play around with continuous sounds, but you don't get that luxury here. And so when you're working with that and you're changing that kind of thing, duplicate. All right, so that should take care of that right there. Do you want to play around with a delay? I think there needs to be either a little bit more reverb on this, or maybe a delay of some sort. So let's see. You want to listen from the beginning? Okay, we can do that. But instead of me filter delay, we'll try that. Grain delay. Echo. Let's do a modulated delay and see if we can scratch task, and why not? Okay. All right. And we're gonna, I think that's a good spot to put it. So just make sure that, absolutely not. That's not a good one. Where are we at on this effects chain? Delete that. Straight, let's do a straight ping pong here. So that should actually work out pretty well. I like it. I like it. Okay, let's go back to the beginning here. Probably needs to be made smoother, but I mean, at some point, yeah, I mean, I'll figure that out. And okay, let me provide you with a link real quick to the server. Hello, Superboy. How's it going? All right, that's the Discord server right there. I feel it's the link changed at the very beginning because I forgot that there was a time limit on the first link. So we've got that. There's got to be some sort of, I want to play around with automation, but I wonder. So that's the output right there. All ends, channel. This is not my normal DAW, by the way, Superboy. This is Appleton Live. Usually I do all my stuff either in Reaper, most of the time in Reaper actually, and then sometimes I do Reason. So this is somewhat new for me. So this is why we're kind of like struggling here with the transitions right now. Let's play around with that right there, because I feel like you don't need that last note on this section here. So we just get rid of, I think that's what we got. Okay, one note, that's all I needed to change there. So the rough parts here, I think, are this section right here. You know, this is where it kind of goes quiet, and then the chord progression basically kind of changes, right? And then you get here where it kind of like goes all out with this chord progression by adding your layers and stuff like that. One of the things that we can do is kind of introduce an ARP here and then kind of make it here. We can also introduce a riser and a fall here to kind of like signal to the listener whether or not we're doing a transition here. And I wonder if we can actually kind of try to play with a little bit of automation here. With this, let's try and actually not replace anything that we've already built here, and instead one of the things that I want to do is, let's see, MIDI effect rack, ARP. We can add an ARP here to kind of create that ARP that I've been talking about here for a little bit. And again, there's so many like selections here, and I feel like they're kind of like presets to the individual instruments, quite honestly. So ARP Autobahn, let's try that real quick. And then we can bring an instrument behind that, and theoretically, what's up, Hunter? How are you doing? Theoretically, what we can do is we can actually bring it into an instrument. At least that's the theory. That's what I do on Reaper here. So analog, we can bring in not a pad, but actually let's go into like synths here. Maybe a piano or something like that. And what I'm going to do here is just out of curiosity, because we're basically playing around with Hunter. We're playing around with Ableton Lite, which is not what I use normally for music production. I usually use Reaper, which is right here. But this is new to me, and we're just exploring here. So let's go down to the piano and see if it actually does what I think it's going to do. Interesting. Let's bring this up and expand it and see what we've got here. So that was a little disconcerting. This is a piano, and it said muted pure. So I think what we want to do first, yeah, it is very strange. We can actually replace the instrument here. But that's looks like the only piano, at least in this menu. I really want to yeah, it's kind of madness there, isn't it? I really want to play around with this though, because the rate is way too quick here. Maybe a 1/8 here. So if we tone down if we actually bring the volume down by a little bit, maybe it'll sound not so bad. All right, let's go ahead and do that. What the hell? That's not what I expected. That's not what I expected at all. Okay. I kind of know, I know how to use this. I really do know how to use this, but we have to EQ this, and we have to bring up the effects a little bit. Also bring down the volume by a little bit, because it's still a little, you know, this is meant to be a very background-ish kind of instrument, I would say. Kind of pan it a little bit to the right so it's not in the center. Let's play around with this. It is kind of strange, but I'm going to try to see if it works. And if not, we can always change out the instrument. And also the ARP, because that is a strange ARP as well. Effects. First of all, we're going to do the EQ. So what happened was the arpeggio is basically setting the notes here. So that's why we're kind of like, yeah, it's, I mean, maybe it's jazz. Maybe the guy is a jazzist that programmed this thing. Yeah, we're going to try to make it even better here. So top spreader, I think that should actually work. We're not doing this right. There we go. And cut, we're going to cut the bottom here. These are very weird EQs. I gotta say right off the bat, it's like these EQs here maybe are not what I'm used to. Keys bright. There we go. I think that'll, what we're doing is we're bringing off the bright side here. Reverb. Let's see here. Spacious. We can go for a vocal hall this time and see if that works. Bring the dry wetness down by quite a bit. And then, of course, a compressor. Always use a compressor. And what we want is probably just like an acoustic compressor here. We'll see how that turns out. I mean, the instrument itself sounds a lot better now. I don't know about the ARP though. Yeah. Sometimes you have to play around with the sound to make it actually sound pretty good. So let's go for that transition though. Hey Dad, how's it going? Thank you so much. Spiralight is good. I like that song. Thank you so much. I mean, I think the big thing though is the transitions on this, right? That's the main thing that we're having an issue with. Like for here, like obviously, either what we would need to do is program a riser here, or we need to like 57 measures, right? So I don't know. It's a fairly short song right now, but like obviously we're just demoing this thing. I may or may not post this, but like I think we're demonstrating a lot of the things that we can do with it. So, all right, flattener. Let's do another instrument here and see if we can't synth rhythmic. Okay. Electric. Okay. Wavetable. Riser. Okay. See if we can work with a riser. Whoops. No, we don't want that. We want this. All right. So we're going to basically push this up. All right. And we want kind of like a, let's see. All right. So here, basically what we want is kind of to program one note. And then we want to kind of solo it out because I don't actually know what this is going to do for this. So that's going to be 2 measures long, right? And we'll solo it out just to see what happens. So solo. Interesting. This is not what I had in mind though. So can we program elements with this? Very interesting. All right, so there is some automation here, I think. I would have to figure this one out. Matrix pitch. All right, and we've got LFO. Okay, so basically what we have here is kind of a, is that what's actually controlling everything? It sounds like a gauze gun, but I was, okay, so these are like, for this particular synthesizer, what we've got here is kind of like your envelope sections plus the LFOs, right? So the envelopes you can use to kind of create the control individual parameters. And I wish I could bring up Massive here, because Massive would be a perfect demonstration for this. But like, this is your regular amplifier synth here to basically, and what it's doing is it's controlling specific parameters here. And then you've got your matrix, which you kind of assign the envelope to a specific thing. So what we have here what it looks like is that you've got the LFO1 to these specific sections here, and then you've got LFO2 to control these as well here. So LFO1 is controlling your pitch, your oscillator pitch, the oscillator position, and then your FM pitch, and then your FM amount, which is not going to be very much. And then you've got a second LFO, which is controlling the pitch as well, and not your position. And then the FM amount. So that's good to know. And you can actually go into your mod sources here, and it'll tell you what your LFO source is. And your LFO source, LFO1, LFO2, I think is what we need to play around with here, because that has, it looks like 8 measures there. Let me see if I can actually control that to about 2. I want 2. And then it'll go higher by a lot, I think. Kind of. Kind of. How much? Okay, so the matrix says that LFO2 is controlling the pitch by 26%. And I think we can actually kind of go all the way down to 40. Is this percentage or notes? I think this is notes. So if I want to do that, because I like bigger transitions, right? We can actually bring this up by a little bit, say to C4. I mean, it's a better transition for sure, right? I don't know how it sounds with the music just yet, but I think I don't like this particular sound. So let's kind of play around with we've got 2 different sounds here. We've got the biharmonic steps, and we've got some crispy sines. So the sines by itself, let's actually okay. I want to know what that. Okay. What we want actually too is we want the low pass filter to be controlled by this as well. So let's say we can kind of bring this out and oh man, I wish I had massive. This could be a lot easier because I know what I'm doing here. Oh, that's filter 2 frequency. Okay, where's filter 1? That is the filter, right? So if I go like this, it should actually, yeah, okay. So what we need to do is find out what this is. Where's filter 1? I don't know where that is. Is that okay? I think the reason why it sounds strange is because of the release. So if we go into the envelope for sure, the amplifier envelope, right? And I'm going to actually modify this section as well, because what that is those are the waveforms that we are working with currently. I'm not sure I actually like that. So we go back into this and we go into the amp envelope, right? And there should be a release time. We'll just bring that to 0. Maybe not quite at 0. So the end will be taken care of instead by the reverb or like an echo or something like that. And what we can also do is we can actually, I wonder if you can, yeah, we can transpose this by what, 7 or something like that instead of, let's go for 7 here. All right. Not bad. I still would like to control the filter though. And I don't know if, let's see if I can do that. And I would like to control the filter using LFO too, because that's basically what's controlling the pitch right now. And if we can kind of like make things kind of like similar to what the pitch is doing, then I think we can actually make it good. Also, I don't know if there should be like some sort of noise generator as well. So unison, low mod, filter to frequency, and I don't know why that's not routing into this, right? Because what we want to do is, if that's going to be the filter that we are like controlling here, then what we need to do is basically control this into here. It's the type of filter. We've got basically the same types of filter. You got notch, you got band pass, you've got low and high. 2 filters then. Okay. Wait, let's go back here. Let's decrease the volume by just a little bit. Let's actually take a look at Lfos 2 again. Perhaps what we need is that too fast? Okay. We're falling under the idea that I'm not sure I like what's going on here. I would like to better control this. Can I actually, okay. Show automation. Okay. Wait, hold on. All right, we can actually deal with, so that's the automation there, right? If we create, is there draw mode? All right, so draw that. kind of. I would like a little bit more granularity to that, because that's kind of an ugly step there. But if we create a ramp here, active grid, clear loop. So, okay, if we create a ramp here, there's got to be a way to do that. Narrowest. There we go. Okay. If you zoom into it, you get a better grid, and therefore your ramp seems a little bit better here. I like that. Probably not the best, but I'd rather draw a line there. See if I can do this better. All right. This is all right. This is not too bad. Good enough. All right. But we can absolutely add some effects to this. So, all right, let's see. Let me see if I can. Okay, all right. Okay, so if we do this, okay. All right, so that's good to know. You can still activate your notes even though you've got this automation here, which is good. All right, now let's see if we can actually add some effects here, which is, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see here. There we go. All right. I mean, we could do that, yeah. Going back down here. Okay. Okay. So it's still kind of, maybe I undid that. Let me see if I can go back and get that stuff on. So more like, kind of like this, right? Like that. So. Makes sense. But I think what we also need to do is kind of process this with a little bit of effects here. So effects, I would say keys bright. Let's just do that. Definitely need a compressor on this because it's a lot louder. Like the end of this needs to be tamed just by a little bit. So flattener, or we can do like a, let's see, mildly aggressive, I guess. Maybe a kind of a, we can actually be a little consistent here on our reverb here. So let's make sure that this doesn't actually step all over itself. So I think I'm going to double up on this too as well. So, because what I want to try to do is I want to actually create a little bit more of a significant effect. So I'm going to pan this left and right by a little bit each other. And then when we change this, I'm actually going to change the note that we're dealing with here, right? So go into here and transpose this by a little bit. And that way we have two different notes playing here. Theoretically, I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, we are soloing, that's what's happening. Okay. Apparently we can only solo one note, so. That's going to be difficult. Yeah, the beginning is really quiet, which means that we can actually increase the volume here, but also the ending is not really aggressive enough as well. You know what I mean? So. But see, the beginning is supposed to be quiet because you're supposed to ramp up to like the transition, basically, you know. So we have learned how to do we've learned how to basically program these basic instruments. And we know a little bit about oscillations, but maybe there's a way to add some noise here as well. That needs to be quieter. What if the last bass note will match the tone of the background sound? In that, well, it does that with the second section of the songs. You almost don't, okay, you don't need a transition here. I'm wondering, I don't know if I can muster up a good riser here to kind of deal with this. But there might be like a different way to transition this sound, you know what I mean? So let's kind of like I think we can actually mute this for now because I don't like it at all. So what if instead we create maybe like an end of this section where it kind of like the drums kind of like cut out right here, right at the end, and then we can double up on some of these things, or just use like a couple of instruments to kind of round it out, right? So duplicate, and then we've got several instruments to kind of like play around with there. So we're gonna drag this down to a couple of the other things that we were playing around with here, and then we'll duplicate that again and then drag it down here. So at the end of this song is okay, I think that would actually work better, and we can actually maybe cut this out and then bring this back a little bit again. So we're going to and then again, to kind of signal the end of the bass line here, let's see if that works better. So we're playing around with the drum line now, so okay. So we've learned something again, is what we've learned here is that you play around with the section that has been duplicated. I don't know what that is. All right. No. Okay. All right, what we're going to do is so we're kind of playing around with the limitations of my knowledge here. We're going to duplicate this, right? And then that way we can cheat our way to this section here. I don't know. This duplicate. All right. And all right. one thing that we can do actually at the end of this is we can actually, let me see if I can actually round this out. So I don't know if we can split this or not. Is this a whole section here? Let's see. We'll work on the transition a little bit, but I was thinking of something, and I don't know if I can actually. Maybe I can do this. Can I split? No, I cannot, but I can duplicate, right? Seems like the solution of the day. And then what we'll do is we'll do that and not select, well, let's, I don't think anything is down there. Duplicate. Okay, never mind. So we'll duplicate each track that we want to duplicate, and in that way it creates kind of like a quasi transition period. I mean we'll deal with that definitely. Duplicate. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. We'll deal with that in a section. But I just wanted to kind of pad this out a little bit before going back there. So let's start from here, right? Okay, we lost this guy. No, okay, duplicate, here we go. So I think this is, okay, if we want to start from okay. All right, so let's go back to that transition really quick. Hey, Slightly Absurd, how are you doing? Thank you. What we could do here is we could bring this back, but then also we could also, okay, let's duplicate this right here, because what I want to do is I want to kind of repeat this sequence here a couple times. Again, duplicate. And then bring this here. And then duplicate. Oh, this is, I gotta say the workflow is different. And I have said that a couple times already. But I would say that it's about as different as Reason is to Reaper, as this is to Reason, or this is to Reaper. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely different workflows going on here, even though some of the concepts are the same. And then we can kind of get rid of this right here because we don't want that. And then go up to the drums here. And should we actually... get rid of that, bring this in, and there's only one instrument here. I think that's what's missing. Okay. This is what we can do actually with this one. Is that if we can automate the volume here, we can actually do something with the arpeggio, right? Because we can actually this is our arpeggio, I think. Yeah, this is our piano. So duplicate that again. But instead of doing it like it is right now, we can actually modify this so it does something different. So right here, we create an octave higher. Track volume. Let's see if we can actually automate the track volume here. And what this will do is this will create a lower volume here. So I don't know if I like the way this kind of automates, but we can kind of like make it quiet here. Probably not down to 20 decibels. Let's go to okay, maybe to 20 decibels because we were pretty low to begin with. So around what, 26 decibels here. And try to draw that line straight as possible. Is it? Oh yeah, it's like it's early in the morning for you, isn't it, Bad? Nope, don't want that. All right. No, I think that'll work. All right. Yeah, it's 2:40 right now, PM. We need to get rid of this last bit of notes here. Because the transition to this lower set of arpeggios is kind of disconcerting. So let's see if we can I guess this would be Final Fantasy music. So, how does that? I mean, does this give you an idea of how Ableton works? Because basically this is kind of an overview of what it's like, you know. And as I said, obviously this is not what I Minecraft, maybe Minecraft, probably Minecraft. We'll see. Yeah. One of the things that I want to, okay, now let's go into the master track, because let's see, our master track here is basically where overall it makes sure that the entire mix is correct, I guess. So this is going to be a challenge because I don't have any idea on which effects to use, because all right, audio effects, dynamics, compressor, compressor, limiter, multi-band, dynamics. All right, we can do multi-band session. What is this? Oh, whoops. All right. Okay, so the only thing I did there, I don't know if you saw it, is I felt like the drum bass that we were playing needed a little bit more presence, so I increased the level by 3 decibels. Let's go back into the track. One of the things that is really good for the mastering or the final section of your track is a multi-band compression here and a limiter at the very least. Probably an overall EQ as well. Let's see if we have anything that'll help us out here. There's a lot. I mean, there's obviously a lot that I need to like learn here in terms of production. In terms of what I have available for production, because ideally I would like something with an overall mix EQ here. I'm not sure I'm seeing it here. Or if we can have like just a straight EQ so I can play with the frequencies and stuff like that. Top spreader, possibly. But if I did that, I actually do not want that. Channel EQ. Hi-hat boosts. 8. Electric guitar. Bass, modern strings. Acoustic. Okay. Do we have like, I think one of the things that I need is a stereo spread, possibly. Modulator, Lfos shaker. Reverb, we don't need a reverb on the final mix. Something I actually don't do. Utilities, tuner, don't need any of that. I wish we had the plugins here. I could utilize my isotope. That would be awesome at the moment. But we're working with the constraints of what we've got here for now. Let's go back to EQ and see if we can't find something here. I mean, we can. We've done that, but I can actually show you how that works. The first thing you probably need to know when recording instruments is you need to have the right preferences selected in your audio, right? And in this case, when I installed Ableton Live, the output device was correct. However, the input device was set to the Yeti microphone, so I had to change that. So, but we do have a audio track that I think I've set up here, or did I actually delete it? I might have deleted it here. Oh, it's here. Audio track number 3 is what I kind of did. So I've got my guitar here. We've been kind of playing this here. So it's got a slow sound on it. So what we can do, I mean, the pad here is based off of, I would say, a B, which is not, well, I mean, it is in the range. I can actually do a B here. Okay. All right. So, I think what I want to do then. All right. This is interesting, actually. I need to go into draw mode and kind of like bring this back up, I think. And kind of just make this its own thing, so we're not stuck with this right here. Yeah. Well, this is one of the effects from I don't know if you saw earlier, but I was playing around with my FM3 processor right here. So this is my it's an FM3 from Fractal and everything. So this is one of the effecty sounds You can mess this up pretty easily if you're not in tune, but so in terms of this, what I would probably do is like utilize only one note. Because you can kind of overpower this. So so what we got here is we can utilize the chord progression here just to see if it'll work, right? Go here, and then what we want to do is we want to see what the notes here. We've got an A, a B, so 1, 2, and then a D, which we can do, and then a C. So, pretty easy, Okay, so what we can do here, we can start the recording probably around here. So we have a little bit of time to set everything up, right? We arm the recording track here, right here, and then we press the circle button right here. So already, I know that this is probably not going to work because the effects here are reacting way too slowly here. Maybe we can try to correct that though. If we go back into here, we can say here is maybe there's a way to decrease the speed here, but what we see here is we've got quite a bit of delay going on. And I think that is actually what we're dealing with here is the delay. 51 milliseconds is not too bad. I would gather to say that 1 full second is probably too much. So let's try to bring that down a little bit, see what happens. And then maybe the master feedback. Or we can just try something else. I don't know. Going back to our chords here. A little bit too much. Hello, S3 Gamer. Glad you stopped by. Thank you very much. In any case, I'm not sure a guitar track would work here. Quite honestly, we've got quite a bit of things going, especially on the chorus side of things. We can listen to it again. S3, we're gonna basically preview the track that we've got here. However, we can probably try to improvise something for this first section here. So let's try that. We're not going to follow any of the... I know the basic key that we're going for here. So let's try that. I'm going to start a little bit earlier than here. Right? All right. So we're in the key of B, apparently. Sometimes I forget, so. All right, let's try this out. Yeah. Oh, wait. It almost worked. It almost worked. I'm getting the idea of it. So let's go back in. So it's kind of like a improvised pad, right? So if we go back in, Right. Okay. So let's see. Volume. Okay. So, okay, it sounds good. I want to see what it sounds like in its oh, I see. Hold on. There's a delay. There's a delay in there. Okay. So one of the things about like recording instruments, and in this depends on the platform, but you can run into things where you run into latency issues. You can see it already where this is where I plucked, well, you could hear that I plucked the guitar on tune, but sometimes your recording is delayed. So you'll have to physically move that if you can. Let me see if I can actually zoom in here and do that real quick. So I'm gonna get the cursor in here if I can. There we go. And so what I want to do is I want to move that pluck, basically the audio in, so it coincides with the beginning of that measure, right? Then we can kind of like size it down a little bit so there's not so much overhead there. Right. Okay, that was good to kind of like feel out exactly how this functions, right? So what we can do is then go back and maybe re-record this with a better line and stuff like that. Because one of the things that we did, or maybe what I can do is kind of like just fade this out actually, instead of like, so, all right, drawing the volume here. We can go in and, oh, that's the on off button. Speaker on. Volume, there we go. So we'll basically just taper this down a little bit so we're not abruptly ending it. And then we can kind of like work with what we got, but we might have to correct some notes here. Hello, Blackbird, again. Okay, so my personal opinion is that while the guitar is good for the first section, it's not really needed in the second section. So let's go ahead and just take it from the. How are you doing, Blackbird? I'm glad it sounds good. First time Ableton, so I'm pretty proud of it. Okay, so that ends. Okay, awesome. So what I'm gonna do is every so often what I'm gonna do is I'm going to be streaming here to kind of explore different DAWs, and Ableton Live was the first one. Hello, Billy. How's it going? There are other platforms on that list. If Badman, I actually was going to, I was going off of that list that you guys, I actually sent you that one time in chat and everything like that. Ableton Live was the first one that was on my list. And while I found that it was not free, you do have the option to preview that, and then the basic version costs about $99. So you have a few months to kind of like save up money to be able to do that, right? So what you can do also is that if you're running out of money, even after like the evaluation period of Ableton, you can then try out Traction Waveform for free as well. And then there's like a paid version of that as well. This list is kind of not accurate in that it says that it's free, but you can actually try it out for free. So you can try out this for like 3 months for free. So the next time I stream, I'm going to actually explore this one here. And then we'll go to Pro Tools first, Ohm Studio, Cubase, SoundBridge. Reaper is something that I know and well, like, so when we do a regular session here, this will go a lot quicker because I know exactly what I'm doing here. Studio One is another DAW. MPC Beats. I have a feeling that this one right here actually requires you to buy the sampler, which is that hardware drum machine, you know what I mean? Podium Free, and I think that's the list. There's probably more there, and I think somebody mentioned Fruity Loops, which we can also kind of, let me kind of get this person here muted. And we can do, yeah, I just hid them. I don't know if like I can actually ban him here. I hit him, but I'll just remove that. All right. Okay. So do you guys, I don't know if I can actually post this song. Let me actually go through the process of exporting this just for the experience, right? It's definitely YouTube mode. Let's see. Manage, is there an export? Master, wave file, or a bit depth of what, 24 bits. And then render start, and then render length would be probably what is this measure here? This would be 67. Let's go for 67. 67, and see if it actually works. We'll do. I have a music section here, and we'll call this Ableton beginning, our training wheels, because I do not know what I'm doing, and we'll just go with that. And see if it actually works. It's rendering now. See if it works. I actually don't know where that went to. There it is. There it is. It's on my file list. So that looks different. I'm gonna assume that this is like a bitmap, a different form of wave. Is that? Can I actually play that? I cannot. Okay. Good to learn. Let's actually try to export this again into a format that we can actually use. So audio, okay. Wave, triangular, no dither, no encode. Go ahead, do this 67 again. Let's see. Let's do no dither. Well, I don't know if I want to do a dither or not. Appleton training wheels. Type Windows Wave. Why did it? Okay, we're gonna save this again. I don't know why. Let me go back into that file real quick. I want to see this real quick because I feel like it didn't name it properly. What type of file is this? Details, kind of. Oh, okay. So it saved it as an ASD file, which I don't know why it would do that. But we can actually see if we can get this going. Master all tracks, right? Okay. Encoding PCM on, or no, off. Okay. we need that. Node River. Let's just go 16-bit and see if there was a different way of doing this. All right. Well, I mean, you can download the entire track storm, but like, are you saying that you want to download like just part of the track, or what are you seeing? Okay, I'm still getting. Oh, here we go. That's why. Okay. So I've got two files here. And right. I think I will. Okay, I will definitely download or upload this. I will make the video shortly, and then I'll upload this and everything. Yeah. So and also the tempo of this is 120 beats per minute. So you can definitely like download this, and maybe if you have like an editing software yourself, Black, you can take out the pieces that you want and use what you need and everything like that. I've been playing around with like giving people some of the I guess you could say the stems, the different pieces to some of my songs. The last time I tried, people, I don't know, it didn't seem to be all that popular, so I kind of got rid of that on my website. But I hope you enjoyed that. That was definitely a learning experience for me, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys just get some rest out there. It's fairly late in the night for you guys, and we'll do this again sometime with waveform. I think the next one is waveform, and so we'll do that. So I'm going to, yeah. I will actually put it on Discord as well. So, yeah, cool. Yeah, possibly Patreon for like the stems and stuff like that. So, thank you all. Thank you all for like showing up and enjoying the stream. And I will see you guys in a little bit. Thank you very much.